oh my gosh. Breitbarts of the world, the Sean Hannitys, the Fox Newses, they are so completely atrocious as human beings. What they're essentially trying to do right now is blur the lines right now between what Hillary Clinton allegedly did in the 2016 election versus what Donald Trump is alleged to have done with the 2016 election. Now, let me just explain what we really need to be focusing on and what's the legitimate scandal. It's whether or not Donald Trump, the imposter in the White House, and anyone affiliated with him colluded with the Russian adversarial foreign government to undermine the United States of America's 2016 election. That's the scandal. Not the stuff that they're trying to make up right now about Hillary Clinton, because they're trying to insulate and make Donald Trump essentially immune from consequences for his role potentially in the Russian investigation. Now, the scandals that they're claiming allegedly were perpetuated by Hillary Clinton. The first one is the trump-dossier. The Trump-dossier basically has been out there for a while, and I think everybody knows exactly what that is. And really what is of consequence in that particular situation is what is the content of that dossier and can it be verified? Not whether or not Hillary Clinton and the DNC, which is what they're alleging now, which was an article by Washington Post, WAPO, basically wrote an article recently saying that Hillary Clinton's campaign and the DNC had funded the Trump dossier after a GOP operative was funding the dossier, who had actually been the first person to pursue this information. Not the Hillary Clinton campaign. They came in after the fact. But nevertheless, this was already reported in 2016 by Mother Jones that a Democrat was actually funding the dossier. Okay? Now, they didn't know exactly who it was. David Corman is the one who wrote the article. He didn't know exactly who it was, but he already reported that it was a Democrat. And nobody cared because he was a non-starter, because he was opposition research. It's not comparable to what Donald Trump did in the 2016 election. What they're attempting to do right now is make it seem like they are comparable, that Hillary Clinton trying to get opposition research on Donald Trump is equivalent to Donald Trump allegedly colluding with a foreign adversary to undermine the United States. Hillary Clinton's, the former, is opposition research. The latter, which is Donald Trump, could be treason. That is a crime. There is no comparison. What are they trying to allege here? That Hillary Clinton was basically working with Russian operatives to help Russia undermine the 2016 election so that she could lose? What was she trying to do? Tank her own election? Her own campaign? That doesn't even make any sense. It's so illogical. And the thirsty mainstream media is chasing this controversy, this alleged controversy, because every time the Republicans create a controversy, especially about Hillary Clinton, the mainstream media, the thirsty media, jumps on it. Now, anybody who knows me knows I am not a Hillary sycophant. I'm not somebody who's just going to shamelessly defend Hillary Clinton, even if I think she did something wrong. There are numerous times that I've condemned the things that she's done before in the past. But let's just be candid here. The reality is they consistently go after her. Look at Benghazi. They spent millions and millions of dollars of our own money in order to pursue Benghazi. Do you feel so much safer now? Do you feel like things have been implemented? What has changed? It'd be nice to know what has changed. Will they have a few more security guards out there for people in foreign countries? Because we just had a crisis in Niger. What changed that made these kind of things not happen anymore? But millions of your dollars went into it for them to have 900 million investigations. And not to mention the email scandal. And the email scandal, which was something that I said fervently, that I thought that what she did was irresponsible. But the FBI has investigated. The FBI has said explicitly that there is nothing there. There's no criminal conduct. Move on. This is ridiculous. It's consistent. Now, another scandal or alleged scandal. I'm not going to say a scandal because it's not a scandal. It's a non-starter. It's a conspiracy theory that is absolutely absurd. What they're claiming is that Hillary Clinton and President Obama basically were involved in a scandal with Russia where it's called the Uranium One alleged scandal, because it's the Uranium One non-starter story. Okay, so basically what it is that in 2010, a Russian company basically wanted to buy some of the interest and was able to buy, with the approval of the United States, buy interest in Uranium One, which is a Canadian company. So basically the United States, and which was a host of agencies, including Hillary Clinton, who happens to be at the State Department, President Obama happens to be the president, And that transaction was approved by the United States government, non-starter. What's the issue? Because a public transaction that was approved by the United States government that happened to include somebody from Russia is now making the United States colluding with Russia before even the 2016 election? Where are you going with this? Where are they going with this? That's the reason why you're not seeing a whole bunch of Republican senators jumping on this, because this is a non-starter. It's not a real story. What they are basically trying to do, the Sean Hannitys, the Bannons, whatever, are just blur the line so they can insulate this imposter in the White House from any real consequences. The truth is, there is a real scandal. This is what happened with Russia. This is the reason why Donald Trump is being investigated. Let me tell you what the facts are here so far. At least a quick synopsis of the facts. First of all, you have Donald Trump Jr., who is Donald Trump's son, who has a meeting with Russians based on the premise that Russia was trying to help Donald Trump win the 2016 election. Now, remind you, 17 intelligence agencies have said that Russia was interfering in the United States election. But nevertheless, Donald Trump and Jared Kushner, who are both part of Donald Trump's campaign, both go to a meeting with these people who are claiming that that the Russian government wants to help Donald Trump with the 2016 election. They go. Nobody knows what really came out of that meeting because they lie so consistently about every single thing. Then Jared Kushner, who is Donald Trump's son-in-law, also part of the campaign, who is now working in the White House. Okay, he has all these relationships with Russian companies and businesses that he doesn't disclose. He lies on his forms, his disclosure forms, and he has to keep on amending them because he consistently lied about them. Then you have Paul Manafort, who was Donald Trump's campaign manager, who was basically Mr. United States Russian Man of the Year. Okay? Like, he's legitimately a Russian operative, pretty much. He was getting money from Russians. They were paying him. They were doing inconsistent things that he lied about. He was Donald Trump's campaign manager. Then you have Michael Flynn, who was a national security advisor, who was basically Mr. Russia USA #2. Okay? And he was basically having relationships with Russians as well that he failed to disclose. He was also getting money from Russians that he failed to disclose. This was somebody who was not only in Donald Trump's campaign, but was made national security advisor. Then you have Carter Page, who was also part of the Donald Trump campaign, who also had undisclosed and meetings with Russian operatives and was doing business with Russians. Then you have Gorka, who was also had affiliation with the Russians. They were both part of Donald Trump's campaign. Then you also have the Attorney General of the United States, Jeff Sessions, who also had meetings and conversations with Russians that he failed to disclose, who was also part of Donald Trump's campaign, who was nominated by Donald Trump. Okay, that's the evidence pretty much, and that's superficial evidence. There's a lot more that's going on right there. This is a legitimate investigation, not this nonsense that they're trying to do right now with Hillary Clinton. The Donald Trump situation is a legitimate, bona fide investigation. Because the truth is, nobody can really argue that Donald Trump had no idea that Russia was trying to help him win the election. You mean to tell me that his son, Don Jr., never told him that Russia was trying to help him win the election? His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, never told him that Russia was trying to help him win the election? None of the people that were working with Russia ever disclosed to Donald Trump that they were working with Russians? None of them told them? So basically, Donald Trump was completely oblivious. He had absolutely no idea what was transpiring. And people were just operating without his knowledge. In his own campaign, that would never happen with that imposter in the White House. And it's funny because he's also trying to push this agenda because he knows that he is a sinking ship in this Russia situation. So he goes out and he says that this whole situation with Hillary Clinton is a bigger scandal than even Watergate. The truth is, Watergate involved a president. It involved a public official. If he is saying that Hillary Clinton should be the president of the United States, we will kindly oblige him. We will bring Hillary Clinton into the White House. We will help this man pack up his shit, move him into a psychiatric ward or wherever the hell he wants to go, a home or whatever else. And we'll put Hillary Clinton in the White House. And they can continue with their frivolousness and their frivolous investigations as long as we can reclaim democracy and reclaim this country. We will happily oblige him. But this is not a scandal at all by Hillary Clinton. There is no scandal. I'm not just defending her. I am telling you, this is a joke. And the mainstream media, who is always thirsty to chase after anything that has to do with Hillary Clinton, are chasing the story and trying to tell us that we should be engaged in it. I'm not going to be engaged in this story. I'm going to focus on the one scandal that exists. Whether Donald Trump or anybody affiliated with Donald Trump colluded with the Russians a foreign adversarial government to interfere in the United States of America's 2016 election. That's the scandal, not Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is a private citizen. But if they wanted to be the president, we will kindly oblige. But in the meantime, she's a private citizen. Leave her the hell alone.